Enjoying the intro there, Conrad.
Yeah.
Welcome to Black Cats TV. We're here because we've not done one of these for a week or two. Been a bit lazy,
8.
so well, not
Christmas
lazy.
is a busy time of year for a father of 5 and a father of
5 we know
1
of.
going on 2. So yeah,
There
exactly.
we
It's a
go.
busy time of year.
But we're going to try and do our best. Anyway, we've got 3 games to get through. 3 games. So we're just going to skirt over them. And was that a cat or a cow?
Yeah,
I heard a moo.
it was a cat.
But thank you all for joining us. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting subscribe and liking the video. It's all free to do. We don't want any money off you. We just want your views. Come and watch us.
Your undivided attention.
Undivided attention for however many minutes we can ramble on for. So the first game was that we've not reviewed. It would be Stoke. So coming off the back of a ream of draws and then a loss, it felt like it was make or break Stoke, right? What did you feel going into it?
I felt very worried that, oh God, we're not going to win this game. And is this actually the start of our downfall now? You know, were the draws actually lucky and we're starting to go the other way? Sorry, I think through our live stream, we were talking about it like you don't want to say must win, but it actually felt like we just need, the rot has been broken now by Sheffield United. Now we need to set it right and start again and build from a win. And 6 minutes in, it didn't feel like that was going to happen when Stoke City just casually went 1-0 up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, were you behind me in that game on the stream? You're behind me normally in most streams, but
yeah, probably. It's about 6 hours. So I was probably on the Sheffield United game.
Probably, yeah. You're still on Sky Now, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. But it was, Lewis Kumas scored for Stoke 6 minutes in.
Little ball over the top that Elise just missed, didn't he? And was through on goal, and then he dinked Patterson on the rebound.
Did you think that was it? Slippery slope, that point?
Well, I did, but because, again, we were trying to match up our streams, and obviously no one else in the chat tries to do that. I looked over, and everyone just went, get in, and I literally turned back and pressed, go to live just in time to see Watson smashing it in literally from kickoff. And it was like, oh, my disappointment is gone. We're back on level terms already. Fantastic.
So they score, we score a minute after, and you think, right, let's go on and do something. Then nothing happened for 80 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, didn't we? I mean, it was 2 weeks ago now. It felt like, I'm sure in that first half, we should have had 2 or 3. Isidore missed a couple of chances when he could have dinked the keeper at one point, and then he missed
I'm not going to take anything away from Stoke. They closed us down so well.
Yeah, it just
there
felt
was
like
25 shots.
That shot as well. It felt like one of those games where it was like we needed to be 2 or 3-1 up at halftime, really, and because it took that long to get ourselves actually in front of them, it felt like one of those. They're just going to ride this out, and it's going to be 1-1, and it's going to be another draw. And, thankfully, 84, 85 minutes on the board.
86th minute.
86 minutes, yeah. Watson came up with his second as well after some beautiful work by Patrick Roberts with a goal contribution finally.
Yeah. And I mean, Watson, man of the match, got to be for that one, right?
Oh,
2 goals. And before that, generally, he'd been taken off by that point in most of the games he'd played, right? He hadn't done a full 90, as it were.
No, I mean, Preston, he did, 45 minutes, and we weren't very impressed with him. Sheffield United, I thought he was fantastic, arguably one of the best players on the pitch, but you're right, I don't think he saw it out. I think they were trying to be careful with him up until what happened at Bristol, at our place with Bristol, where the inevitable happened and the sort of shining light of the moment was cruelly cut down, and now we're without him for 2 months.
Yeah.
You're without Mundle for 8 weeks or 2 months as well. He's getting towards the sort of back end of that, and the one who's coming in, you're thinking, actually, if we play Mundle and Watson, this could be something here. Oh, he's injured, right? Okay.
Yeah, feels like we've got that old Sunderland injury curse again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
So
you can never have all of your toys at once. It's like the parents going around going, put that one away before you get that one back out. That type of thing. You can't have it all.
you can't
So
have choices. No choices. No choices for
and
you.
then it felt like it took us a long time to recover in that Bristol game
Yeah.
because
So
it
yeah,
seemed Watson was the one.
it was a deadlock through the first half, but again,
Mm.
I feel like we had a lot of shots that just
Yeah,
don't
it did.
get past the first man.
No, and Watson was causing a lot of issues for them, and then obviously that happens, and he was gone. You move Mayenda out to the left, who never played out on the left for us as well. Roberts came back in after 15-minute rest for him, not starting a game, and it felt like, oh god, here we go, we're back to Roberts, who's not really on form at the moment.
Yeah.
Isidor's isolated again up front with no one sort of getting up alongside him like Watson is or running past him, and no one's actually causing them a threat on the left side either because Mayenda's never played there, and sort of just having to sort of fill in as it were, and it took us a real. Sorry, I'm just recovering from a nasty cold, man flu, whatever.
Nobody cares. Talk about football.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, it just felt like it took us a really long time to sort of get back to thinking actually we're all right at this and we can get forward and do it. And finally one of his substitutions in Ashish paid off, but didn't think it was going to when he came on. I was like, oh, right,
Yeah,
okay. Scraping the barrel.
His subs have been interesting because it was Rig that came off for Ashish.
I didn't think Rig would play particularly well against Bristol. It's not like he played bad, but it definitely wasn't one of his best games.
But what before that game? What was your thoughts on Ashish coming on?
I'd have said don't bother.
Yeah. He's on the for sale list.
He was. I think it was one of those that Rig wasn't doing it at the time, and it was a case of, well, he's not done it in this game, but we know he can do it in games. He needs a rest. We're going to have lots more games coming up, and we forget he's only 17. But as Philly says, players can't be tired. So I think it was just, well, what other option was there on the bench? Pervaders injured. Connolly, did he come on? I don't think Connolly
did. He did straight swap for Isidore at the 79th.
Okay,
but I mean,
and then who else was there?
So Sirkin came on for Elise at 63. Ashish for Rig at 79 at the same time as Connolly for Isidore. And obviously the earlier one was Roberts that came on when Watson went off. That's the kind of subs I want to see. 60 minutes to 70 minutes, but he doesn't seem to do that regular. We'll go on to that like when we've gone through the games. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, got to be a 1-0 loss, right? All the way up till 90 minutes. Could you see us?
No, so I was a very generous guest of a box at the game actually, because I was meant to be doing the commentary with you, but I got lucky and got a spare ticket for a box, which was very nice. And I don't know if any of the people who I was in would do watch this, but they were very nice people as well, and certainly had a good few laughs while we were watching the game as well. It felt like it was another one of those, a bit like the Stoke moment, but we were losing. This is just not going to go our way, especially the type of goal that we conceded where it was just shambolic defending, and it was just like someone just needed to go, like, I'm smashing this out for a throw-in. I don't care. Just get rid of it. And it just seemed like everyone was going, sorry, I've done it. It's bounced to the back post and he's in. It was just, right.
Do you think that's on 9 missing, though?
It could have been because he wasn't in that game. He wasn't even in the squad for that game at all, was he?
No, And I feel like Meffin and Ballard are similar players.
I think I like Ballard. He's obviously a class defender, but he's clearly not the lead centre back in any partnership. I think he's very much the sort of the blunt instrument, as it were, that someone is a bit like
sick him, Ballard. Sick him.
Yeah, it's like pretty much. It's like you need someone next to him to be like, right, you're coming up with me now, right? You spread out a bit like 09 does. 09's got more,
and maybe Meffin doesn't as good as Meffin is. Maybe he doesn't have that verbal.
Maybe.
So Ballard wasn't being coached as much as he usually would be.
Speaking of verbal, I did see a comment on our videos saying it's not Meffin, it's Meppen.
It's Meffin. It's always going to be Meffin now.
Yeah, okay. Meffin sake. Meffin hell. Potentially. He looks like, though, he's a talker when we've seen him in games and pointing around Meppen. So,
Meffin.
Yeah, that one. Chris. But I don't know. But 09 just knows Sunderland and just gets it. So it could just be something as simple as that. But you'd like to think that you can't have two centre-backs that are both seconds, if that makes it, both bottoms, as it were.
It just feels like when 09's not been there, which they're all still great defenders. I rate everyone across that back row. We've got Elise, Ballard, Meffin. I don't give a shit. Hume. I'm just going to pronounce them all wrong to annoy you.
Yeah.
So we've got Humme, Meffin, Ballard, and LS across the back. But they are all in their own rights great defenders, right?
And Kirkine.
But I think they're all great defenders in their own right?
Yeah.
And I think 09, he might not be as good a defender as all of them, but I think he's a natural leader in that team now.
Yeah. And
whether he's got the armband or not.
He's got a very good tactical awareness about him, which I think is really, really helpful in the backline. I mean, we saw it against Swansea where who would have thought you'd take off Dennis Sirkin, arguably one of our biggest threats on that left-hand side, put 09 in at left back and it made us better. Like, just maybe not in every game that would happen, but certainly in that moment, that made us a lot more solid, I guess, at that point, and it enabled us to be able to build up off of what we were doing. Whereas I think before it was almost like get it to Sirkin, get it to Hume, Roberts mained it, and we'll just run. Whereas 09 just probably came in a bit like back in the day when we had Bolo's ending, and we used to just bring him on, just be like, just calm in. We're all right. Let's build it up. Let's try this. Let's go with that one. It was just again, I think everyone in your stream definitely was going, why have we taken Sirkin off? It's ridiculous. Like, Sirkin's one of our best ones. And, we go and score 2 more goals and we win the game.
Yeah. So in the Bristol game, Roberts finally scores. After what? 30, 40 misses over the start of the season.
Yeah. What was his other goal was a penalty at Plymouth Argyle.
Don't count.
Yeah,
he cancelled that out by missing a penalty.
If you miss a penalty, I was going to say, yeah. Someone in one of the comments on the videos we did, well, I love Patrick Roberts. If it wasn't for Roberts, we'd have lost. If it wasn't for Roberts, we'd have 9 points less this season. And I was like, that's interesting. Let's go back and have a look at all his goal contribution. And it's a big fat lie. Because in fairness, one of his goals was Plymouth and we lost anyway. So fair enough. One of his assists was Watford, which we lost anyway. So you're sitting there going, well, all right, that's 2 out of there. The one against Sheffield Wednesday, he got an assist in that game. We won 4-0. So even if you take that goal out, we're still
defend your favourite players by all means, but don't back it up with bollocks.
False stats. No.
I like Roberts. I think he brings something to the team. I said it on the Sunday Bunch that it was a coup when we first signed him. I couldn't believe we'd signed a player of his caliber in League One, exactly. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And I think he's still got a lot to offer. He just needs to not go for the goal because
I wish it was
cross it.
I think I said the word frustration comes to mind when it's just because you know how good he is, and you know exactly that, like, if you could just do this a bit more consistently, this would be absolutely phenomenal. But if you're doing it a bit more consistently, chances are you'd be playing for a better team than us at this point. Really, his assists are amazing, and I mean we know that he can just beat people for days. But like you say, the shooting was he trying too hard to score and cut in on his left and always have a shot into the far corner and you're like, well, you've got it in your locker, but clearly not as often as you think. Like you should look for the better options. You've got 4 assists and technically 1 goal from open. I
want to see him do that 2 or 3 times in a season and create a really magic moment by all means, but not try and do it 12 times in a game.
Yeah, exactly. But against Bristol City, I can't really fault him. He came in when he probably wouldn't have done as early as that, but he was absolutely relentless in just trying to break down Bristol's defence for us. And even the end one where he went, look, there's nothing on, I'm just going to carry on across their back line, feed it into Ashish, and he didn't just stop. He went, and now I'll move into this gap, and Ashish found him, and he just poked it past the near post.
And he's teamed up with loads of people this season really well. Him and Rig pass it brilliantly. A little triangle passes going between them and him and Job as Rig. It's all been good.
His partnership with Diallo when Diallo was here as well. Those two were phenomenal together.
Magic. Yeah, absolute magic. He's got it in his locker. That's the thing about it. And I mean, let's be fair. At 93 minutes, that felt like a win to me when that went in.
It did up until the keeper plucked that Dan Ballard header out of the sky because it came in and I remember it just dropped and we all were like, that moment we go, and he had his back to goal, but there was a player there and a player there. And it was just lay it off to one of them and you've scored. But because it bounced up and it was on the rise, he had no choice but to I've got to do something and divert it towards goal. Whereas if it had been the other way, it could have literally just...
it was close, but it's still, I mean, when the goal went in, a draw, when you've been 1-0 down for so long, felt like a win. And nothing beats that feeling until the next game.
Yeah, when you go 2-0 down
Swansea.
in 8 minutes or whatever it was.
So Swansea is the most recent one. And it was our first live stream on Black Cats TV, where we'll be doing the live streams from now on. We're not running away from fan TV. We're just, trying to give options.
You offered to do it on fan TV as well.
I did. You did. But yeah, so it was our first live on here. Went quite well. Had a decent amount of people in for such a small channel that we are at the moment. But I said, so two things are noteworthy for this. And I clipped it to say that I had a dream it was 3-2.
Yeah.
I had a dream we won 3-2. Yeah. And I said it quite blasé at the start and then went on to the end. The other thing I said to one of the guys in the comments was, if we don't score in the first 20 minutes in this one, we're done for. So one prediction was right, one was wrong.
Yeah. You were 6 minutes out with the second one, so
17 minutes in and you're 2-0 down.
Yeah, it was a shocking start. I mean, I know you said you had that dream, but your prediction was still 2-2 on Fan TV, I remember.
It was.
So close. You nearly nailed it. And normally you do go for the big scores, actually, so it was a bit like the first time it happened. Again,
I didn't have the dream till after I'd made my prediction, and it genuinely was a dream. I had another dream last night, but that was something different, and that's not. I don't want to see Philly naked again. That's not.
There was it was just comical defending again. It felt like the defending from the Bristol City goal just came straight into the start of this game, and it was just where 4 defenders all didn't bother following the ball, and by the time everyone had realised the keeper was out in no man's land, couldn't come, and no defender could get near the striker, and then I don't think we can really take anything away from the strike that the free kick taker put in. It was a worldy free kick, and no one was getting near that one. But then it just felt like, oh god, it's going to be that day, the day that I always say we've got one in us every season where it just falls apart and we're beaten like 4-0, 5-0, 5-1, it's just, you get embarrassed and you sort of go from there. But so I sacked it off watching at that point. I was like, I've got things I could be doing. This is actually irritating me at the moment. Like, I don't want to see this.
Shocking. I've never walked away from a game. I was
just like, no. I said, I'll come back in about half an hour and see how we're doing. So I kept listening to you, though. I kept listening to you while I was doing stuff. So I think you said Ballard had scored, and I was like, all right, well, we're back in it. Never mind. Like, that's all right. And then second half, I was like, right, let's see this. And we mentioned it the other day, but Dan Neil, man, was unbelievable.
Where's that come from? Where's that been all this season?
I don't know.
I had to say, I take back everything.
But it's as we've been saying for ages. We're like, he's not a defensive midfielder. He needs to be playing further up the pitch. But again, you can't drop Job from his position. You can't drop Rig from his. And he's not going to play 3 attacking centre mids or 2 attacking centre mids in an engine. He's going to sort of go, well, one of you's got to sit. And unfortunately, that seems to be the detriment to Neil at the moment. But when he got hold of the ball and he was making forward runs, forward passes, head up every time looking for it, look at what we got out of him. And look at the bloody finish that he did as well.
Because when it's a set piece, Meffin and Ballard obviously have got something about their presence. So they go up into the box and it's usually Neil that sits in defence then. He's always filling in that gap in defence when any of them go forward. So, he's not used to playing that. But he had a great game. He showed great leadership, great run, and the strike just finished it off. It was superb. It really was.
Underrated moment was his celebration where he's running over, clearly going mad that he scored. He goes, "Get in!" And then as all the other players arrive, he goes, "Get back there, you!" To everybody else, like, I'm allowed to enjoy that moment. You've got fucking work to do.
We could still win this. We could still win this. And 2 minutes later,
Frank Lampard was reborn with a late run into the penalty area on the
sliding run
on the end of a Roberts cross, exactly like he did against Stoke, just tapping it in. I say tapping it, and he smashed it in. But you looked like on the angle that first saw it went straight down the keeper's throat. And when you watch all the other angles, it is a good metre to his side, not quite in the corner, but just lovely finish. And didn't look in absolute any danger at that point. I know you were saying about why didn't he make any changes to try and shore up the win?
No. Do you know what? Yeah, at first, I'm never a fan of parking the bus, right? I think I've always said best form of defense attack. If we'd have kept going and got a fourth and a fifth, you know what I mean? They're never going to come back from it. So I don't believe in putting defenders on. But we had Aushish on the bench, who did well in recent games. We had Connolly on there, who has not done too bad recently.
Connolly, so.
And you've got Elise on there. There's 3 subs, and what I'm talking about is the last 5 or 10 minutes. Why wasn't he making them subs to waste the time like every team does to us?
Yeah, and I think we said something like maybe believes that the team I've got out there is the best team that can do this job, or he doesn't want to disrupt how they're playing by throwing someone else in who's not up to speed on the game. We're guessing really on him. I mean, he got away with
maybe
it worked out all right.
Maybe if Swansea were looking more threatening in the last 10 minutes, he'd have played for more time that way. I don't know.
The example I used was Burnley earlier on in the season, where he clearly thought Dan Neil had been sent off, so we're at 10 men with 4 minutes to go, and he goes, bollocks to this. He goes, the 2 strikers off, and he puts on 2 with centre backs, and he just goes, we've got 6 at the back, and the midfield sit in front, that's all we're doing. So he clearly felt that was more of a threat, and he can make that decision. Whereas that one, I think, like we said, I don't think there was any danger of Swansea actually, doing anything to us.
Yeah. So I've seen lots of Swansea fans have popped up on my YouTube feed, and they feel like that they threw that game away. Would you say it was them, or was it us, or just a combination?
I don't know, because really, Ballard got free for a header, which Ballard can do. He's a threat, and he's always a threat from set pieces. And then Neil produces an absolute worldy moment
out of nowhere.
Driving run. It's not like anyone backed off or anything. He just got a bit of space and drove on and finished it into the top corner. And Job's one, we were flooding men forward because we'd just scored, and you can't pick up everybody. So I don't think Swansea played awful, but of course you're probably going to think you've thrown it away if you're 2-0 up, after, you said, 20 minutes or so, and at home, and then throw it away. But no, I thought we were a completely different side second half. Second half, Sunderland, in a good way, finally came out, and, we were unplayable. But I don't think Swansea differed from the first half to the second half. I just think we were a lot better.
Yeah. Well, we'll do another video to preview of the upcoming games. So we'll do that separately. But has any of your thoughts changed on Labrie after having that run of draws followed by the loss? Was it a honeymoon period that's over, or do you still think he's got some?
No, I still think he's doing well. We can't fault him for that one. I think someone said, I saw something last year that said last season we got 56 points in total. I think it was.
Yeah,
and we're already on 40, and we've got 21 games spare. If you look at it like that, he's doing a phenomenal job. When we look at it in that context, now the context really is we want to get promoted. Ideally in the top 2, if we must, playoffs. That's the expectations of us as Sunderland fans. I believe the majority of us will will hold that we expect to be doing this. Now, we're clearly improving, but I think we're also, the fans, especially like myself, are looking at this in a little bit of fear of, we know we need to do it this season if we want to have any hopes of holding on to a lot of these players that we have.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we'll lose.
It's going to be a fire sale. It's going to be a fire sale.
And it might not be, I think, like we might try to hold on to them, but when big money comes in the model that we have, you can't turn it down.
Yeah. And if it is silly money, even fans won't fault a team at this level.
If someone came in and went, 30 million for Job, 30 million for Rig, we'll go, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not going to sit there and go, no, don't be daft, and go from there. We're going to take it, and we're going to have a look at what's next. Alexic will start getting minutes, and he looked decent in the 20-minute spell that he had at Millwall, so I don't doubt he'll be a good player at some point.
Get them lads into the Premier League, though, and you can double that price tag, right?
Absolutely, and that's what I'm hoping Labrie and Speakman are planning in January, that it's like, actually, if you want this model, it can grow even bigger. You'd only have to sell one of them from a Premier League season, and you've got money that you would have had for both of them,
Yeah, big push in January to do something, which we're hoping for. Sheffield United are 5 points clear now from us. Not 5 points clear for the table, 5 points clear from us at first on 45 points.
We play them in 4 games, though, I think, don't we?
We do. That's going to be the bit. The thing is, I always think they're massive games, right? They're 6 point games. Yeah, they drop 3, we gain 3. They're massive games, but they're not the ones we lose. We lose to Plymouth. We lose to Hull.
We did lose to Sheffield United, I will say.
No, but generally,
we stumble where we shouldn't.
So
and, I'm hoping that we can obviously get revenge over them a bit, because that was a game we should have walked, and we played like we should have been 2 or 3-0 up coasting, yet missed penalty, missed opportunities, and they nab it 1-0, and then they give it the big one, and their manager gives it the big one, and you're sitting there going, did you watch that game? We were better than you all the way through it. Like, even at 10 men, arguably we were still better than you. Like, it's a bit like, I always feel a bit sorry for the Leeds fans when they came to us, because we got that draw when the keeper threw it in. And I'm sitting there going, no one actually gave them credit for going, they were actually fucking great, Leeds, when they came to our ground. They absolutely controlled the game from start to finish. And no one gives them credit for it, because we poxed a goal at the end that shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But no one likes Leeds.
Nobody likes Leeds. We all like Leeds.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Leeds channel, then we don't mind you. Come and join us for a show before the game.
I actually don't mind Leeds, but I think that's the sort of northern part of me. I like northern teams. Southern teams can fuck off.
Well, I work with Leeds fans, and my Middlesbrough fan is my boss, so it's great. And then I live surrounded by Burnley fans, so I've got the enemy everywhere.
But
all fronts. Well, that was the 3 games. I think that's all we need to go through for them. Hopefully some better results come in. So would you like to say goodbye to our thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching this?
Yeah, thank you for watching. Sorry, been away. Busy time, as we said, for Dad of 5, Dad of 1.5, as he's cooking at the moment. He, she, I should say. Just we try and get as much out as we can for you. Obviously, we try and do as much as we can, but Christmas time comes up, so we'll try and keep going. Mike did a great job with the live stream, so check it out if he's doing. You doing one for Norwich?
It's Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, I'm kid free. I'm gonna have a break from Christmas shopping. We're gonna do a live stream.
So tune in to see Mike's live stream versus Norwich. Huh?
Yes, I'm gonna do it.
Okay. I'm, see Mike's live.
I'm drinking Friday nights. Hangovers are longer at our age. That's true. So I might do a live stream. I might be like this.
If we're winning, though, you won't feel hungover. Just eat pizza on your live stream, be fine. But no, check it out. It'll be great to have you there, chatting Sunderland while we go on it as well. And if I'm around, I'll jump in the comments as well and sort of see what's going on. But yeah, thank you for all watching. Please subscribe, like the video, share it to all your friends, grab their phones, like and support our channel as well. Just basically steal people's phones and subscribe to us. It's amazing.
Yeah, force it.
Yeah.
1,000 by 2025. Come on, get us there.
Forced subscriptions.
He's left me nothing to sign out with. He said everything. He's ruined it. So just
Yeah.
right. Bye.